Hey, welcome back to another Murderess podcast. I am Sidney Smith with my two co-hosts here, August O'Neal and Ray Earl. We're going to get to them in a minute, but before we do, I want to throw a shout out of love and appreciation to those who are on the Patreon already and who are supporting it. I do appreciate you. Though your monies goes towards this podcast, the other podcast, and other projects. Right now, if you are a Patreon member. You got some of the bonus stuff that I've already dropped. You got the 2 pages for my film that I'm having production right now. So some cool things on there for you. So thank you again. Shout out to you. And also, I wanted to show my new shirt that I have. You'll find I'm a descendant of kings and queens. So
Yeah.
this is my new favorite tee, and you'll find that on my website, Sidney Smith Creative, CRE, the number 8TIV.com. And you can find your way to the Patreon that same way. So shout out to you guys for supporting. With all that said, what's good, August and Ray?
Hello, hello,
Going
hello.
on.
What's
All right.
going on?
All right. Well, it's been 2 weeks since I seen Ray Earl on video. I seen you on TikTok. I've seen you on IG. Ray Earl does a great job of putting his videos and whatnot up on social
Yeah.
media. I hate social media. You do a great job of it, Ray.
I hate it too.
I know
I
what you
hate
will.
that
Understand
shit
it.
too.
I know what you will be in charge of when my mogul media empire takes off, Ray. So I love it.
I don't know if you want that. Okay. All I'm good
It be
for
all
is
all
upload. That's
glittery,
it. Don't
glitter
give me
bomb.
no extra shit. Don't ask me to put no filter on shit.
All
Don't
right,
ask me to
all right,
clip
already
shit.
fired.
I'm
Already
just gonna
fired.
press upload and leave it.
Already fired. Thanks for the
You gonna
interview,
copy
Ray
and
Earl.
Uh-huh.
Send in the next interviewee.
Okay. I'll happily fail that one. Okay.
What's good, August?
Nothing much, man. It's just been a heck of a week. It was my son's birthday last weekend. He turned 12,
Okay.
which means 45.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got a show. Oh, Ray and I got a show coming up Friday. We're both part of the Comic-Con for Weed.
There you go.
It's Buzzapalooza.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
All
good
right.
show for us Friday night at 8.
Little pause break for the both of you. There you go. Little pause break. Good for the both of you.
Man.
I love hearing
Yeah, so
that.
it's gonna be different. I'm like, okay.
People don't
Okay.
understand what it's like as a stand-up comic, a professional stand-up comic. I don't want to say that because there's a lot of people out there who say they're a stand-up
Yeah.
comic and no one ever puts $1 in their hand, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But as a
Yeah.
professional stand-up comic, man, sometimes, especially in the early days, you got to take some gigs that later
Mm-hmm.
on you're like, I hated taking that gig, but I had to do it at the time. What
Yeah.
do you guys think about? What do you guys think about having to
Well,
do the weed convention? Is that something you're looking forward to?
well, I
Oh
don't
yes.
smoke.
Right,
I'm not a smoker,
right.
Yeah.
but I'll take anything you give me. Lesbian scissoring convention, I'll do it. Okay, I will figure it out. I will get there and I will do it. What Ray likes to do is stage time. I'll take any motherfucking gig
That's
you
it.
got.
Yeah,
Funerals,
yeah,
weddings,
yeah.
I'll do that shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
you will. You will. This is true.
I won't do Chuck E. Cheese though unless I'm opening for Eddie Murphy. Now I got my limits.
Yeah,
Got my limits. But no, I'm looking forward to this though because it's a
Mhm.
huge thing. Like when I do Comic Con, I was the first Black female comic to do Comic Con. Still am. Okay. Now
Oh, I'm doing
this
that
is
too.
gonna be
Yeah.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is a huge thing. So I'm like, you never know who's going to be there, even in a small crowd. So I try not to turn down anything because you never know who's going to be
Mm-hmm.
there.
Well, I love
That's
Mm-hmm.
that. I love that mindset because that is exactly, August. You've heard me say it to people a million times, but that is exactly
mhm.
right. If you're going to accept the gig, give it 1,000%.
Yeah.
One for the people who paid to be there, whether it's 5 people or 5,000, they came, they showed up. You got to give it to them. That's why I hate to
Hmm.
see anybody cut their set short at all. And the other thing is, you don't know who's sitting in the audience,
You
much like
understand?
you said. So,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I want
Mm-hmm.
to give it up. Give it up.
Yeah. Because when I did that show in New Orleans in November, one of Michael Collier's people was sitting in there. That was
Yeah.
a small show, small venue. And then I've been on the show twice, about to be on it for a third time. So I'm like, damn, you just never know. So
Never know. Never know.
I
Mm-hmm.
ain't turned nothing but my collar, you see.
Okay, all right,
Uh-huh.
player. All right,
Where's from?
player.
Where's the E40?
All right, player. Go ahead, Ray.
So I got to unpack something here.
Okay.
Okay. So a friend of mine, you know, ever the entrepreneur that he is, decided that he was going to start an OnlyFans. You know, now as a
Mm.
person who does stand up comedy, I like the support of my friends to come out to my shows and things like that to support me. Do I subscribe to his OnlyFans? Okay. And if I
No.
do subscribe, do I watch? Okay. Now, if I do subscribe and I don't watch, what do I do if he asks me, how did you how did you think I took that load? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I mean, as a friend, okay?
Say
It's
say no. Inflation.
Is this
Gas is high.
is this a real thing, Ray?
it's a real thing. Do you want me to send you the link?
Hell no.
No.
Okay.
you know you know damn well I don't want you to send me the damn link.
Well, I got a question. Is he a comic?
He is not a comic. He used to be a
Oh, okay.
dancer, a stripper, who I know not that way, but the friendship way. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's
You're
my
not
que-
gonna. What I'm trying to say is you're not gonna see me on his OnlyFans. Okay.
here's my question,
Yeah.
Ray. Has he been out to support your comedy career often?
He has. He has been to a couple of the shows. He's been to some
Paid.
shows.
I should say paid.
Huh?
Did he pay for his tickets?
Yes. Yes, he
Okay.
did. Yes, he
Well,
did.
you can join up for a couple of months, support him. You ain't got to look at it. You ain't got to watch it. Support his dream.
Yeah,
I
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? You're right. He is worth that $10. Okay. I at least subscribe for 1 month.
Yeah,
Okay.
support his dream.
Okay.
Because
I don't want to. I don't want to see him like that. That'd be like if y'all
Yeah, no.
started an OnlyFans, and I'd be like, I don't want to know y'all like that. Okay.
right. I
As
feel,
far as I'm concerned, y'all like Ken and Barbie right now. Y'all don't have genitalia. Okay.
that's what my wife thinks sometimes.
Look, we're non-binary right
Yes. Okay.
now. Right now.
You said you had a couple of things. Was that the only thing?
Oh gosh, I had gone to Michigan and did a show on Saturday, and that was in the hick part of Michigan too.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right. You up
What?
in Richmond. That's right.
I was in Richmond.
Ooh.
How'd that
Okay,
go?
that was the red part. That was Trump supporting Michigan.
Yes, it
Okay,
is. Yes, it is. I told you.
I had to turn down Coon Creek Road to get to that venue. Okay,
Cood Creek.
Coon Creek Road. Okay, not Queen Creek like they got it out here in Arizona, but Coon
Yeah.
Creek. Okay. I was
Cood
like, is this
Creek.
a stop on the Underground Railroad? And they didn't tell me? I don't know.
How'd it go?
Oh, it went good. It went really well for me. They told me you're welcome back here anytime. Okay.
Well, I told
Well,
you
that's
what
good.
Michigan was gonna be. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
great. I'm glad they like you up there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
before we get into August's story, I did want to throw something out there for everyone. And no one, if you don't have anything to say, that's fine. But I wanted to share it. Yes, it was weird. Yesterday, Dion Curry, my co-host on Now It's Debatable, we did our show. We do it every Monday night. We do a Facebook Live, and you can find it on podcasts wherever you listen to your favorite pods. But this one, we decided to take questions from our audience, and one of them was an all-encompassing question about comedy. And one of the questions was, "Have you ever thought about quitting? And if you do, how often?" And my answer was all the time. I think about quitting at least every other week, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and only because I always want more, and I'm always frustrated because I'm not going as high or as far or as fast as I feel like I should be. But that's me. I'm
Yes.
human. Of course, God has His own plan. For people out there who don't know, this might be the part where you want to turn the podcast off because I'm somewhat religious and spiritual. But I know God has His own plan. And so we had that whole conversation last night on the show. Got up today, had a good conversation with my friend David. We talked about spiritual and God and life
Mm-hmm.
and your calling and all these different things, and not confusing your calling with what your ego is telling you to do. And so I'm at the gym and I'm doing I'm on the incline bench, and the gentleman next to me is on the incline bench, and he's got it racked. He's got weights racked up on it. So, I shoot the shit with him about all the weight he's lifting. Come to find out, he's a chef. His name is Chef Ron. His handle on IG is AZ Dope Chef. I say it because I want everyone to follow this guy. In a matter of 15 to 20 minutes, I was really impressed with his spirit and his vibe, his level of positivity. He's a professional chef with a meal plan company. I know he mentioned some of his clients have been Kyler Murray, some other players on the Cardinals, Phoenix Suns, so on and so forth. So I believe him to be legit on that side of things. But I thought it was very interesting that when you least expect it, God will present people to give you those little seeds, those little nuggets
Yeah.
that kind of say, hey man, you're kind of being a knucklehead because you're not happy with where you are, or you're being a knucklehead because you think you should have more than what you have at the present time, but you're headed in the right direction. And that could be for anyone and mean different things for anyone out
Yeah.
there. It doesn't have to be what it means for me in terms of comedy or what I'm trying to do. As I tell people all the time, I'm trying to be the biggest star on the entire planet, to be a mogul like some of the folks out there, the Jay-Z's, the Beyoncé's, the Kevin Hart's,
The Byron
the
Allen.
Byron
Byron Allen now.
Allens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
getting ready to
sleep
say
on
Byron
Byron
Allen.
Allen.
Who am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the richest black man in the country. I can't think of his name right now. Robert Smith. Men like
Yes.
that. So, or people like that. But I found our conversation just the 15 to 20 minutes because I had to try to get home as fast as I could. And joke was on me because I got home late, which pushed the podcast back a little bit. And these two know how much I hate it, but I couldn't avoid it. I wanted to stay in the conversation, but I knew I had to get out the conversation. I'm watching the clock on the wall behind him, but trying to listen to him at the same time. But anyway, just found it very enlightening. And again, I tell people all the time, if you just sit back and pay attention, God will speak to you through people all the time if you just give it a
Yeah.
chance. Just
Mm-hmm.
give it a chance. So I want to see what you guys thought about that. I also, again, I told Chef Ron I was going to shout him out on the podcast. So shout out to Chef Ron for that moment that I had with him. Hopefully, I get a chance to run into him at the gym again. But what do you guys? Do you guys ever find yourself in that space or needing that and noticing that information or that blessing or whatever you want to call it hits you at the right time so many times?
Yes. Even last year, October, it was around Halloween. I was ready to quit because I felt like I had so much on my plate, being a mom, homeowner, trying to have a job, trying to hustle, getting laid off, just different things. My performance, you know me, I like to perform.
Mm-hmm.
My performance was not me. I felt like I was on autopilot. I said, I need a wife at this point in my life, or else I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
quit.
That,
But that's why I take breaks. That's why I stay gone and do certain things, and I just disappear for a little bit.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think all of us can get there where we feel burnt out, or you're not going as fast as you like because you see someone else do this. You're like, they ain't doing half the shit I'm doing, or anything. But it's not on our time. Like I started comedy late, but I always do from the age of five. Of five, I was supposed to be rich and famous and married to Michael Jackson. That's all I knew, and I still want to be rich and famous. That other part, I'm not so much.
Gave up on it.
So yeah,
I
Right.
know that what they say is we're not supposed to look at another person's success or path and compare it to ours.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
However, there have been some comedians I have seen who have left here, and like August said, knowing they don't do as much as we do,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting more and more success. And I have been trying to put that out of my mind because, like you said, Sydney, God has a plan, and it's coming.
yeah.
It's just coming. So I'm like trying to grind as hard as I can out in these streets, doing any kind of show that I can because I just don't know when that opportunity is gonna come. But I'm gonna tell you, this week I'm like, fuck, this has been a long week, and it's only Tuesday, and I'm ready for a nap.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I said,
you know,
yeah, put
like
out
I'm
your mind because the only person you competing with is you from yesterday. And that's
Yep.
why I
And
always
I'm
try to upgrade my cat suits or a performance
oh
because I'm
yeah.
always competing with myself. Shut up, Sydney.
And
I
and,
thought it
and
was
that's
like,
another thing too. That's another thing too. I'm trying to stop competing with other people in the comedy scene also, because that will hold you back. So I've like dialed back a little bit of the friendships
mm-hmm.
because I know that whenever I'm around them, we're always, well, how did you do here? How did you do here? Did what
Oh
I know
wow,
I was good. I know I was killing here or whatever. And I know that we should be building ourselves up, but there are just some
yeah,
people around in the comedy community
of
who I
course,
always feel like we're competing against.
and
And I
that's not
don't like
good.
that, just because like I like the camaraderie of comedy or whatever, and I know
Yeah,
I want to get better, but when you're always competing against someone, it just brings me down, and I
yeah,
just don't feel like I'm putting myself in the best light.
But I would say this, Ray. I would say two things. One, I think comedy has this natural competitive side to it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think there's a way to get around it because
Why not?
there are only few spots for so many comics. Like look at how many
Mm-hmm.
clubs we have here, but look at how many comics we have here. So there are
yeah,
so many people trying to compete. But I'm with you with laying back a little bit more because I did the same thing because I figured out that okay, I see you're trying to compete with me more than I'm trying to compete with you. I'm trying to have
Mm-hmm.
camaraderie with you. You're busy
mm-hmm.
watching what I'm doing and trying to figure out how am I getting what I'm getting and secretly being jealous all at the same time. Now, I will
Yeah,
humbly say that of the three of us, I feel like I'm probably the most accomplished at this point. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable saying that. So I would say this to go with
yeah,
that: the longer you do it, the higher you get, the more opportunities
yeah,
you get, the less of the people who are around you today will even be there. So
Mm-hmm.
to
yeah,
me, it's not even important. All those people who have what they want to say and want to do the backbiting and all of that, I don't even worry about it because if I
yeah.
keep doing what I'm doing, just like you keep doing what you're doing,
That's it.
you won't even be around. You won't even be
That's
around.
why I had to branch off to different things because I'm
Uh,
interested in so many different things
Yeah.
besides comedy. So I was like, I gotta do my podcast. I love doing your podcast with y'all. Like this is totally different avenues. So I
but
love it.
can I say one more thing?
You can.
Oh
So
no.
I had started a new show. I started that show at
Yeah.
Lenore's
Oh
Comedy Club.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the first one, it was kind of dead. But that second one,
Yes.
it was lit. We had a good lineup. We had a good crowd or whatever. And I felt really good about that.
Great.
I had a good headliner and everything like that. Well, I had told a friend that I was gonna have this headliner. And this friend said, "Don't do that. Don't have him on the show because all he's gonna do is, if he doesn't do well, he's going to talk shit about the audience. He's just gonna be mean and nasty to all the other people." And did you know he booked him on his show?
We'll talk off the podcast who it is. I think I
Wait,
know
I
who it
just didn't
is.
know. Did you say something?
I didn't say anything. I still had that. I still had that headliner. I still had that headliner.
Okay.
Oh, you still had a headliner. Okay.
I still had him
Okay.
as a headliner, and I knew I had made a smart decision by having him. But I was like, but yeah, we'll talk about that when we get off
So
Yeah.
who's
off
the
Well, I
mic.
headline?
think
If I
we.
can ask, who's the headline? I do want to
It
know.
was Josh Harrison.
Oh, I
Josh
like
Harrison.
Josh. Josh is
I
Josh is
like
one
Yeah,
of
I
my
Josh
like him.
guys.
too.
Josh is one of my guys. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm glad he did
Hmm.
well. Um, you have to let me know the next time you're doing your show over there, so I can come out and support. So I
Okay.
want to. I just you guys know this. I don't go out to a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
if you guys are having something, let me know. And if I'm free, I want to be able to come out and support you. So let me know next time you got your thing going over at Lenora's.
You want to come to Buzzer Palooza on Friday while the weed heads?
No, I do not. that's,
I know.
that's not, that's, that's, that show would not be making
All
the
right.
cuts.
I
That's,
already told my who,
yeah, yeah.
and I was like, I don't think you'd want to go. He was no,
No, he ain't.
no.
Yeah, I
Like all
could.
right.
Yeah. That old dude ain't
It
going.
gonna be-
It's gonna be it, it's gonna be fun.
So, in,
it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
in closing, before we get to August's story, and I know we all can't wait to hear it, but in closing, I did want to say this. Uh, I'm big on trying to take wisdom from people who are icons, and Oprah is an icon.
Mhm.
When you think of icons, you think of people you know by fucking one name,
Mhm.
and you don't need to say anything else
Yeah.
but than Oprah. But I have it written over here on my dry erase board. Uh, but the quote is, "Live your purpose."
Mhm.
Yep.
And the conversation, part of the conversation with Chef Ron, he was kind of saying it a little differently than I was saying it, but we got to the same point. When you have the talent that the three of us has, that he has, your first thing in your mind is fame. You're human. That's the first thing you think about is
Mhm.
fame and fortune and all of the trappings that come with that. And I think you find yourself running around in a circle sometimes because you're just trying to figure out how to get just that. But I think
Yeah.
fame can be, doesn't, there's no promise, but can be a byproduct of whatever your purpose is. So I
Yeah.
think for any of the three of us and anyone who's listening, find what that purpose is, live that, and let whatever byproducts come from that come. And so I think that'll take some stress and ease off of all of our minds if we can learn to do that. All right, with that said, church is over. Let's go with
Yeah.
Church say
Like I
amen.
know my purpose. My purpose is to feed the homeless. That's all I really do. All right.
I
Are we
don't know
ready?
what.
I'm sorry.
What?
Sorry. I know. I just look. I just spaced out of my. Cause I feed the homeless all the time. All the time. Like I feed the homeless, give them money, give people clothes, do all my donations. I think that's somewhat of my purpose.
Ray,
That's all
am
I'm
I
gonna
the
say.
only one? But when she said feed the homeless, did you go to some? You might go someplace sexual. When she said
Oh
Oh.
my God, are you serious? No. What is wrong with you? Really? Really?
let
You
me
see my face? Who all over there? What you drinking, right?
let me give myself an applause break. Hey, August, are you drinking our non-sponsor tonight by chance?
I am not drinking because of my headache
Okay,
from
all right. Just
yesterday's
want to make sure.
drinks.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So I had to
Uh,
get them California pizza drinks was strong, boy.
August O'Neal,
All
who
right.
is the murderess this week?
We are starting with Roberta Elder.
All right, I never heard
That's
of this
right.
one. Okay,
Mm-mm.
All right. So
sound like
we
somebody's
gonna
grandmama.
start it off. Yes.
Sound
Now
like she
I'm just gonna
smoked.
read it exactly how
Does she drink Fuzzy Neville's or something?
the the, the no
Champagne?
no
She sound like she
no
from the west side of
moonshine.
Detroit. Go ahead.
Somebody's great grandma.
Yeah.
Roberta Elder. Okay. Now, the killings may have started as early as 1938, but no one suspected murder until Reverend William M. Elder died after eating bananas and cheese in 1952.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But wait,
Re-
hold on. What kind of combination is bananas and cheese? Don't be getting
I
uptight.
don't,
Bananas and
I
cheese. Who eats bananas and cheese? You ain't
That
never
sounds
seen
like
that.
a
don't know. The people.
depression meal. Okay. That's like some shit you got left over in the fridge. Be like, well, baby, this is all we got.
You know what it
Okay.
That's
sound
it.
like? It sound like somebody who don't want to shit for the rest of the
Uh,
week.
yeah. Or
Yeah,
it sounds
and
like
cheese.
someone who want to shit and go shit all night. Okay.
Bananas and cheese. All right, all
I'll
right,
let
But
you know
don't
how
touch
that
me.
go tomorrow.
ugh, ugh.
He's a reverend. All right. So, Reverend Elder, a respected Baptist preacher in Atlanta, Georgia, lost his daughter, Fannie Mae, to pneumonia 1 year
Hold on
before
now.
his
Hold on.
own death.
Hold on.
Are y'all gonna let me finish this dang on story? What the hell?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dress Up. You thought we supposed to sit and just let you read and hold our
I'll let
questions to the
y'all
end? Go ahead.
read. I'm listening.
No, go ahead, Fannie Mae.
Oh, okay. Lost his daughter. Okay, Fannie Mae to pneumonia 1 year before his own death, and another daughter, Annie Pearl, died of pneumonia 2 years prior. The same coroner that examined his daughters was bewildered when
I'm allowed to laugh. Go
turn your
ahead.
camera off.
Go ahead.
The same coroner that examined his daughters was bewildered when Reverend Elder's skin looked ruddy and his body was emaciated. So, concerned about the multiple Elder family deaths, the coroner decided to test. This was back in 1952. The coroner decided to test whether Reverend Elder could have died of arsenic poisoning, or the symptoms of which present were present much like pneumonia. So after finding arsenic in the Reverend's body, he decided it was time to alert the authorities to the multiple deaths coming out of the Easton Street home where the Elder family lived. Would you like to say something now? Because I'm on a break.
Girl, read your
Okay,
story. Cause you on a break.
okay. Break between the paragraphs. All right. So police attention immediately turned to the Reverend Elder's wife, Roberta. Roberta and William were only married for a little over 2 years when he died. The two set up a household with William's 5 children from a previous marriage, but only 1 year into their marriage, William's daughter, Annie Pearl, became ill and died, followed then by Fannie Mae. William was also a construction worker by day, and he became violently ill at work, telling his coworkers he had just eaten the bananas and cheese that Roberta had given him. Now, Roberta called in a doctor who gave him medicine and instructed the family to call if the Reverend did not improve. The doctor was not called again until William was dying. Ain't that some shit? So Reverend Elder's children observed that Roberta gave him milk of magnesia. We know what that is, Ray. That's the boo
Oh
boo
yeah, we
juice,
do.
sort of.
Mm.
Okay, as she did for their sisters to help ease their symptoms as well. Sorry, but they later suspected this was how she administered the poison. The surviving family members were all treated for exposure to arsenic after showing symptoms themselves. Now, each of the deceased elder family members had a life insurance policy taken out in their names by Roberta. Police ordered the exhumation of Annie Pearl and Fannie Mae. Trace evidence of arsenic was found in both of the women's hair, which was enough evidence, the police believed, to arrest Roberta Elder.
The kids and the husband were okay. All right, I'm just making sure I'm keeping up with you, Grandma.
Kids and the husband. Now wait till you hear how much the policy was for back in 1952. Now, as the police continued the investigations, they found that Roberta Elder left a trail of bodies in her wake starting in 1938 with the death of her common law husband, John Woodward. 10 more potential victims were identified that died mysteriously while just living with Roberta. Now, the victims included an adult son, two of Roberta's infant children, one, oh, I'm sorry, one only 1 week old baby, the other one was 2 weeks old, a
Can you
grandchild,
say baby again?
and baby, and and her and her mother. What's up? Her baby. I got to animate it. Sorry.
Ray's face.
No. Would y'all like me to just read it like I'm in sixth grade English still?
No, just have some
Thank you.
fun, old woman.
I am having fun. Okay, now look.
I
Now
like you
look.
better drunk.
Roberta, look, shut up. Now look. Roberta. I don't get drunk. I have drinks. So
Oh,
there's a difference.
my bad.
Okay, let me get back to the story.
All right.
Now, Roberta took out life insurance policies on several of the deceased in amounts ranging from $50 to $225, with the largest policies on Reverend Elder for $500 and $550 on Fannie Mae.
What year
She
was this?
collected on the
I'm sorry. What year was this?
1952.
Okay. I'm looking at something up. That's why.
Yeah. Now, she collected on the policies after their deaths. The police, however, could never prove that she ever actually purchased arsenic, though William's surviving children believe she got it from her brother's farm. I'm sorry. Roberta was convicted to a life sentence based on circumstantial evidence and remanded to prison. The prosecutor lamented that Roberta could not be executed because the law prevented it under circumstantial prosecutions. Throughout the investigation and trial, Roberta maintained her innocence. Now, Miss Roberta Elder was dubbed Atlanta's Mrs. Bluebeard, a pejorative term often referring to those that killed multiple family members. And this was based on the children's fairy tale in which, a wealthy man with the blue beard kills multiple wives and leaves their bodies to rot in a special room in his home. Now, according to Pittsburgh Courier reporter William Folks, Roberta outdid the original namesake in her killings. Because of the number of deaths to which she was linked by police, the black press began to refer to Roberta as a serial killer, or someone who kills multiple people with motive, following a predictable pattern. Now, while Roberta's killing spree did not draw attention from the mainstream press, the black press, including the Pittsburgh Courier and Chicago Defender, reported on the case and on Elder's victims. The coroner declared Roberta's killing spree as an unheard of thing that read like something out of a storybook, and it still received little attention. And we'll talk about that soon too. Elder was sent to prison, having never confessed, and her killing and her victims went on unremembered. Now, between 1952 and 1954, the black press followed Elder's case through the criminal justice system, while law enforcement found more potential victims to blame on Elder, and the white press still took little interest. They said black lives don't matter back here in 1952. We don't care. So they actually put up all this other attention. At the same time, there was another serial killer at the same time. Her name was Nanny Doss. She was the giggling granny.
We did her, like, I want to say in season 1 we did a story on Nanny Doss.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was going on at the same time, man, same time. And they said, we gonna go talk to this one right here. We ain't gonna worry about them black lives. Let it go on by.
I like how even in 1952 they had like Black Twitter.
Yes, that's exactly what they did.
And that is it. She got in jail and died.
So in all, she through all that insurance, she only got like $1,000.
Yes.
And that's what I was looking up, Ray, because $500 in 1952 is only $5,676.23 today. It's not a lot of money.
Yep. Reverend Elder, $500. Fannie Mae, $550. And then, you know, those other people. So say what, $400 from those other people that she also killed.
Well, I mean, back
Yeah.
then, with $1,500, you could buy a house and a car. So she was living the life, I guess.
Could
She
you?
was hood rich in 1952.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And then I looked at a picture. Y'all might want to Google the picture.
I would definitely have to Google the picture. But how many people do they have her totaled up for killing in all?
Oh, let me go back to it.
More
At
importantly,
least 10.
how many of y'all gonna try bananas and cheese?
Not this black guy.
So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10.
You eat bananas and cheese, you got to follow that up with some prunes in a couple of days.
Y'all nasty. Or some milk and magnesia.
Well, what kind of
juice.
cheese? Am I gonna put that on my charcuterie board? Okay.
Oh my Lord.
You have a party with bananas and cheese on your charcuterie board. I'm out.
Party's over. Oh.
Damn, it ain't gonna look good. Not gonna look good.
Well, folks who are watching the podcast obviously can go check it out for themselves. But I will definitely be pulling. Actually, I may just pull a picture and post it up for the podcast on YouTube. But I always post a picture for the podcast listeners.
Actually, the total count was 13.
She killed 13 people and she only got like $1,500. That ain't worth it.
$1,500.
That ain't worth it. Okay. If I'm
Less
gonna
than
kill you for some insurance, I'm at least in double digits.
That's why I was like.
What drew you in on
and
this
he
story,
was a reverend.
August?
Well, I just decided to try something because I watch a lot of Fatal Attraction, and then the one I was watching had a whole bunch. It was like Sisters Weekend or something. I said, well, let me pull up some black serial killers.
No, August typed in
going on.
black murdering bitch in the 50s. And that's what she came up with. Okay. And then when she saw bananas and cheese, she was like, okay, this'll work. Okay.
No, because I was like, ooh, I've been watching Fatal Attraction a lot, and this Sisters be on there. But you're right. A lot of women use arsenic. They don't have no imagination. They don't do nothing different. It's always poison.
But how were they even able in the 50s to discover that it was arsenic that was killing them? Because they didn't have no technology back then.
That's why I said. So when the same coroner was the one who said, nah, we got to do this. Because there's still science and chemistry majors at the end of the day. Most coroners are. Like that's part of their degree. So they're going to test for everything. They know what to test for.
But I think you said towards the beginning that the first victim, their skin gave a hint
That
towards what it was, right?
yes, that was the Reverend. The
Yeah,
Reverend's skin
Reverend.
was like rubbery and ready.
Ew.
Just yeah.
Ooh, but I also heard that when they do cut you open, if you've been poisoned with arsenic, that you start to smell like almonds or something like that. That the inside smell like almonds.
Really?
Mm,
I'm gonna Google that. But
Yeah,
I thought this was interesting. I was like, she killed her own children, her husband, and her husband's cheering. This
so
is
well,
crazy.
if there was ever a person who said "fuck them kids," it sounds like it was
Fuck them
Fetty
kids.
May. Okay.
You need to know who you marry.
Uh
did,
huh.
did, did you find anything about what her life was like in jail?
No, I did not. But they show a picture of it where she was in the cell block of Philadelphia County Prison for a long time, and that's what they showed.
Why you be
So
flipping into different accents? What's going on? You all right?
for a long time. I say long time all time. That was from the Two Live Crew. We lay long time.
I know it's
For a long time, my
I'm
friend.
gonna I'm gonna have to Google Fannie Mae. Okay.
Fannie Mae died along with Annie Pearl.
And Annie Pearl. You know, I had a great aunt named Annie Pearl. I wonder if there's any relation. Okay.
Let me
I
let me
think
pull
we
up
all
some.
had an aunt named Annie Pearl. Okay.
not me. My people from the suburbs.
I know my family's from Carbon Hill, Alabama,
I'm
so
We
that's
just
are
where we
saying.
get
all from this.
Pearl from.
I'm lying. My family from Coffeyville, Mississippi, originally, so I'm sure some
We-
Annie Pearls in there.
Exactly.
It's from Annie Pearl
Ours is,
somewhere.
and ours is Monk's Corner and Cowpen, South Carolina, by way of Charleston. Okay, the Pinckney Plantation. So let me see what else do we have. Yeah, bananas and cheese. I still just who eats bananas and cheese like
And what kind of cheese? Was it the government cheese? Was it sliced American cheese? Was it a Gouda? I don't. I got to
that?
figure
Oh
out. Am I
no.
gonna have to do a
It's that
banana
one.
and
It's that.
cheese taste test to find out what goes
What's
well?
that one cheese that smells
What cheese pairs well with bananas?
Limburger
And what
cheese?
kind of wine goes with bananas and cheese?
First of all,
Who had wine?
first of all, Ray, you know anybody in this story, if they all they can come up with is some bananas and cheese, they don't have any arugula. So you know,
Okay, they couldn't take up an offering at the church.
You
Couldn't
know,
take up an
they
offering
ain't
at the
doing no spring
church.
mix. You know.
you are so sadistic. That's all. That's all we finding out on this. On this, you
You know
slumlord.
what? I'm all for trying new cuisine. I've never heard of bananas and cheese together.
I
I
will.
guess
Right, so let me
I'll
see. I'm trying to see how old he was. The Reverend was 47 years old when he died.
He was young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I
And the
mean, he was
girls were,
old for the 50s. He died in the 50s, right? You
yes.
know,
52.
they was
Yeah.
And
old back then.
Annie
You know,
Annie Pearl, Annie Pearl was only 9. Fannie Mae was 15.
I would love to be at the party that they served Ray banana and cheese. Cause remember how he went off about them Starbursts at that party? I would love. I would love.
ooh,
I
ooh,
would.
Woo!
I
Woo!
love.
I'm leaving that party right the fuck now.
I
Okay.
normally. I normally don't do impersonations, but I'm gonna try right now. Let me tell y'all something. What these motherfuckers had. I showed up to this party, and these motherfuckers didn't have anything to eat but some bananas and cheese. You hear me? You hear me?
Thank you.
I I
Take
I
it down.
appreciate your attempt at the smack.
I tried.
Okay.
I tried. I tried.
Okay. Some bananas and cheese
Oh
and shit. And how you
and it's
slice the bananas? Okay. Do you
I
slice it
don't
the
know. I'm
long
reading it
way?
later.
In quarters.
Yeah.
Damn, that sounds like 2 previous husbands, 3 of her own biological children, her grandson, her mother, her cousin. I'm just still going back to another list. Golly, and one of them said they put on the death certificates: pneumonia, malnutrition, influenza, and something that was undetermined. Mm, mm, mm. How do you do that? What is wrong with your life?
You
Well,
know what? That's
Just
fine.
kill
That's fine.
yourself.
one of the things that I found with doing this podcast for the last 3 years is while there are some who are very copycat in their way, there are some out
Yeah,
there I'm just like, that is some devious shit. That's some shit
yeah.
like a man would do. And not to give it away, but if this is the first episode you're listening to, go all the way back to episode 2 of our first year. That by far is my favorite one that we've done. And that bitch was crazy. And I don't want to give it away,
Who
but
was
that bitch
that?
was crazy.
Give it
Her name is
away. Give it
Her name is
away. Give it
Catherine
away.
Knight. In fact, you don't have to
Catherine.
go that. Yeah, in fact, you don't have to go that far back. I just dropped it for season 3, just as a classic. But yeah, you got to listen to that one. It's crazy.
All right,
Oh, I'm
I
gonna watch
found some
that
more
one.
stuff about her for her past. Okay, now what we know about people in Roberta's past, based off the court records, is that she had a mother. Her mother's name was Mrs. Callie Brown. She had a brother who had a farm in Watkinsville, where she was likely from, and that her maiden name was Brown as well. She was born between 1908 and 1909, since she was 43 at the time of her 1952 arrest. Let's see here. The first record of marriage was for Willie Thurman when she was 15 or 16 years old. She was married to Mr. That's probably
Yeah.
where it started.
Uh-huh.
The marriage took place in, how do you pronounce it? Oconee County, Georgia.
Close
Oconee
enough.
County was where the, huh?
Close enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oconee County was where the town of Watkinsville is located, supporting the fact that she may have been from there. And their oldest child was born in 1925. They relocated to Atlanta, where they had another child named Willie Mae. They also had a daughter named Lily Mae, who was mentioned to be a victim of Roberta, and she died at one. That's the one that died at 1 week old.
I think they all
God. Oh
committed
wait,
suicide at the same time because of them names.
Oh, I know, right?
Lily Lou, and Lily Mae. Wow, that woman
Ooh,
was nuts.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
crazy.
those are some direct descendants of some slave
And
names
he
right there.
now
Okay.
her first husband went to the hospital because they lived together, whatever. They were still married. He showed symptoms of an illness, but he was sent home to the care of his wife. And he died at 4:30, December 4th, after he had went to the hospital on December 1st. And his death was the one that was ruled as undetermined, though possibly of chronic nephritis. Now somebody gotta look that up. She signed the death certificate as the informant. So then he was buried in an unknown location. Mm, mm,
That's
mm,
interesting, interesting, interesting. All right. Nice work,
mm,
August.
mm, mm. Thank you. I'm not too proud of this story. I just don't like that she killed all these people and it took so long. You know what I mean? Like all your babies. Once again,
Look, here's one thing I'm learning.
yeah,
So August and I were talking about this before. Uh,
kids, man.
the podcast. I think the longtime listeners have to learn you two because you two are the show is completely different
Yeah.
in so many different ways with the two of you versus what it was before. I appreciate it, but the listeners are going to have to get used to it because it is different. There's certain things I'm gonna have to get used to with you guys being my new two co-hosts. One of them is both of y'all act real sedity when somebody asks you a question in the middle of your presentation.
Ooh,
Real sedity. Uh,
you hear that, Ray Earl?
yeah, both of you. Ray Earl, 2 weeks ago was real sedity. You can interrupt his story. He got real, and you got the audacity to roll your old lady black eyes every time somebody. every
I
He
mean,
time.
tells
because
me my
honestly,
face.
what you think we was gonna do when you brought up bananas and cheese? Okay,
Exactly. You knew that was coming.
you you ain't think I was
That
gonna
was
have
only
a
two
question
sentences
about
in.
bananas and
I was like,
cheese?
I was only two sentences in. I hadn't even started my monologue. Two sentences.
Well,
Well,
you should have ended on bananas and cheese.
hold on. First of all, you act like this is the Tonight Show with August O'Neal. You don't get a fucking monologue. My monologue.
Thinking this
You
is
know what I
Tuesday
meant.
Night Live.
Right. A lot of boy.
Shoot. Cause I was
Boy,
like, I was like, that's like Elvis's sandwich. Elvis used to eat bananas and peanut butter. Ugh, that's just nasty. All the
I'd
time,
rather
like
have
a
that than some
sandwich.
bananas and cheese.
Negative.
Told you, Sidney.
Oh,
Both of you. Both of you. Just like,
well, and then
Whatever.
I
I
think
but
on the
I love.
next on next week's show, then I think we all need to try some bananas and cheese. Okay.
shit. No, I don't think so.
I'm gonna have some delivered to you.
You about to have me
I'm
all
gonna send
backed
you
up.
lit. I'm gonna send you Lindbergh cheese.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
uh,
Be
Lindbergh
stopped in the middle
cheese.
of the
Yeah.
podcast, be like, we got to put this on pause. Okay.
you know what? I want to see you show up with some bananas and cheese next week. I want to
Oh,
see the. You know what you
Look
know
at
what
that.
I may
Okay.
you know what I may get it. You know what, Ray? I'll do it with you. Bananas and
okay.
cheese next week. I'm gonna ask
Next
the wife to put
Tuesday.
it. Yep, I'm gonna ask the wife to put it on the shopping list. Bananas and cheese. I'm with you.
Sure.
Cause
You
we
too,
are the eat
August.
shit.
Okay.
I'm not eating that shit. Oh no, no, sir.
Why you got to be so hood all the time, August? You see how she did?
I thought I thought
Straight
I was
cell
the Diddy.
block D. I ain't eating that shit. Look like a woman with
I
half
went
her
from
head shaved.
I went
I
from
ain't gonna lie.
Vanessa
I
Huston
may
to the
try
Diddy
it when I
style.
leave
I'm not doing
tonight. Okay.
You ain't gonna make it to the
it.
show
Nah.
next week.
You know what y'all need to try? You know, y'all need to try Cranch. My son hates that I say it's called Cranch. It's ranch and ketchup in a bottle. Oh man, that shit was fire last week. I used it. Cranch.
You mean poor people styles in Island?
Pharaoh, bring me that Cranch.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
All right,
it was
this.
great.
All right, everyone. Thank you
I want to
guys
see.
for watching and listening to
What's he?
Murder's
Oh wait,
podcast.
let me cite my sources.
Yes, cite your sources.
All right, so the very first one is on a site. Let me go back to it. It's the Black Perspective, and it was also published by AAIHS, Black Perspectives. And the second one was on Reddit. And that's it.
You
And also
said
the Root. I'm sorry, also the Root.com.
I believe in us citing our sources, but you said it like you had like the Wall Street Journal, the New York Post.
Oh wait, hold on.
Wait.
mm.
Well, because I didn't want you to get sued.
Listen, I appreciate you. I appreciate you the most.
Bring me
She
the
had
Cranch.
19. She had 1952 Black Twitter. You're right.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Hey, everybody. Thank you
He's like,
guys so much for listening and watching another episode of Murder's Podcast. Again, if you enjoyed it, tell a friend, share it, subscribe. If you did not enjoy it, tell a friend anyway. Maybe they will like our three African American faces.
wait a
What,
minute.
August? What?
He's bringing the Cranch. Hold on. He's just moving slow. You know he old.
Why? What are we supposed to do with this crunch? What are we doing? This is another non-sponsor.
Yes, I would like you to see a non-sponsor. This is the
Eating.
Cranch.
Can't,
Oh, it comes pre-made. Oh, okay.
oh,
Yes.
I thought you
behinds.
was just making that shit at home. That like that pink sauce. You know that girl that pink sauce. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember her?
No.
You know when she was all over Twitter making that shit and selling it and getting everybody sick
Peaches,
because it wasn't
And
FDA
peaches.
regulated.
yeah, they ended up coming after her ass for that.
Yes, they did.
What was that? I have no idea what you're talking about, but this is
Uh,
Cranch.
She was making some pink shit and she was selling it, but it wasn't FDA approved. In fact, I don't even think it was her idea. I think she kind of took somebody else's shit and whatever. But they came after her
What were
ass
people
for it.
putting it on? What were they putting? What was she putting it
It
on?
was just like a dip or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And people had talked about it. They were highlighting her at first. They're like, oh, look at this girl making her own little at-home business. Nobody thought about, how's this bitch storing this?
Yeah, exactly. She
Shipping
got
this.
milk crates of this shit next to the furnace and stuff, and people getting sick and everything. Okay, no.
Well, look,
Uh-uh.
y'all, I'm going to go out with it. And it's the color of what? What color is this, Ray? What color is it?
It's like a mauve or something. What is it? A pink? What is it?
Peaches,
A mauve?
peaches, 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 peaches.
All right,
Pink.
okay. Thank you guys for watching and listening to the Murderous Podcast. This
See you
thing is
next
scrolled
week.
down there longer than I expected. Again, go check out the Patreon. Get some bonus. If you love this, you're going to love some bonus. So come and get it. Thank you guys very much. Don't forget,
Have a good night.
I am and you are a descendant of kings and queens. Act accordingly. Remember, be aware of your surroundings at all times. You guys are nuts.
Boiled nuts.